Hey everyone, it's Heather from Heather Marie Speaks, and I'm here on location in Virginia Beach with Dapper Luq. He was in the RVA Fashion Week fashion show this year and had his own line featured here at a special location in the Hampton Roads area. So I'm here to do a community spotlight, hear a little bit from him. He is a veteran from the military, so thank you for your service. And tell us a little bit about how you got started in this amazing suit line.
Awesome, thank you, Heather. Yes, so this year, for the RVA Fashion Week, I partnered with Jimmy, Bud, and Ryan in the past. So this year I said I want to do something of my own and kind of feature the Hampton Roads area because that's where I'm actually from. So although it's RVA, I'm down here in Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
So we did it at the Hermitage House, which is a museum, and it's an outdoor garden in Norfolk. I thought it was an amazing kind of backdrop for a virtual show.
Yeah, and beautiful weather too that day.
Yes, it was amazing weather, the right time of day. And I knew kind of going into it, I wanted to do a virtual show with everything going on with COVID and social distancing of that nature. So I said, let me do a virtual show, and it just kind of made the perfect backdrop. So that was my second collection. That was my fall winter 2020 collection. And what I really wanted to do was I wanted to kind of feature both men and women's suits, tuxedos and coats. And the one thing that I love colors, I love designs that you don't normally see, but still really clean and really amazing that you can still wear in the office, but colors you wouldn't normally see on the rack at your normal store. So that's kind of how I developed my particular line. Here at Dapper Luq Collection, we do custom. So if you want to come in and get a fully custom suit, you can do that, or you can kind of take some ideas from what I've done in the past off my collection. And again, we also do weddings, we do proms, once those things get back going again. And if you need to do anything, like I said, coats or custom things for children, we can do that as well.
That's great. Now, tell us a little bit about your background, because I don't think that you were called Dapper Luq in the military. So give us a little bit of background. You are a veteran. Thank you for your service.
Yes, I am. Thank you, thank you. Yes, 22 years of naval service is what I did do. For the most part, when I was about 15 years in, I kind of made, I guess, a decision. I'm like, okay, if and when I'm over with the military, what is that next leaf going to be for me? So I've always had a passion for fashion. Ever since high school, I've always loved to dress and kind of be outside of the box when it came to dressing. And throughout my military career, whenever we would pull into ports, I'd be the one wearing a suit or a blazer when everybody else was kind of in jeans and a t-shirt.
Nice.
So I kind of took from reading this one book I always kind of shout out. It's from Robert Greene. It's called Mastery. And one of the things he talks about in that book is if you ever come to that point where, you're doing what you love, find a way to monetize it.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of what I'm doing now. I love suits, I love fashion, I love styling, I love putting on events. So now I'm just creating that lane to actually be paid for it. So the Dapper Luq started out as a blogger.
Okay.
Then I was a model for a little while, and then I became a stylist. Styled for some designers out of New York, out in LA, down in Miami. This is all while I was active duty. And as I was kind of on my way transitioning out, that's when I was, okay, let me go ahead and just launch my personal collection.
Yeah.
So my collection was launched March of 2020, my first collection, my spring-summer collection in Algeria for Algeria Fashion Week. And then COVID hit, shut us all down for a little while. But with the office and the showroom, I have been really busy. I do, like I said, one-on-one clients, and we do weddings, things of that nature, small things that can still go on, even with everything going on. And as we transition hopefully into 2021, we'll continue to feature the collection. We're going to go international. We're doing 2 shows in December, one in Tanzania and one in Ghana to showcase the collection as well. And again, just continue to build the Dapper Luq brand.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, I love that you're using your gifts and talents that you've been given to help other people be stylish and be dressed.
Yes.
It's a great thing. And I love that you were able to serve in our military. I've spoken to a couple of people. That's amazing to me too, that you see military dressed in their uniforms all the time, right? And you have to look prim and proper and just so, but everybody looks the same.
Correct.
So I love to see these men that are using their kind of creative skills to still have this this look, not necessarily uniform, but it's like this crisp, clean look that you are using to design and create specialty looks for men so that they're not all looking the same.
Correct.
It's like specifically to be outside the box.
Yes. So the one thing that I like about suits, the suit style has been around for, hundreds of years. The thing that, like you said, that makes it unique is the different patterns, the different fabrics, and also how you accessorize your look. So one of the things that I love to do, like you said, is not only just give you a suit and say, okay, go on about your business. It's how can we make this look unique whenever I wear it. So I like to have kind of some signature things, a pocket square, tie clips, things that I think are very clean, keep you in place, but at the same time, you know, it's still that dressy look. And that's what I love. So that's kind of how the Dapper Luq continues to grow and what we want to push out as far as your looks. I think guys, you know, even though, you know, you get that suit and you have a 9 to 5, I think when you go out and you go just like your normal bar or restaurant and you have a suit, it's a different look you get, you know, even from just people that are walking around. So I think it's always good to have at least 1 or 2 suits in your collection to wear out.
Absolutely. You normally are donning a hat as well. So this is unusual for me not to see in a hat.
I'm indoors, yes.
Well, I love the fact that you're bringing things that were classic old school back, though.
Yes.
I mean, it's really great. So 2 things I wanted to talk about. One was you were on the ID panel for the RVA Fashion Week talking about your identity in fashion. And one of the things that you said was so profound about being able to share things with other people and not being afraid of sharing your ideas, because they will never be able to produce it the way your brain and idea works, but it might help inspire them to do something else. Correct.
Yes. So one of the things that I always hear people say, and it's one of those kind of social media memes I always say, where they say, you know, stay quiet until you're ready to blow up. And I'm always like, yes and no. Mainly no. Yes, you don't want to just always be talking and kind of telling everything that's going on. But I think sometimes you do need to kind of be upfront with what you're trying to do for a couple of different reasons. You may know somebody that can actually help what you're trying to do. They may have tried it in the past and they can give you some advice. I'm really big on mentors. I have a mentor right now, and I know for a fact some of the things that I have done in my career I would not have done without my mentor. So I think having a person that you can kind of talk to about your ideas and your dreams helps maybe even put you ahead of where you are. One thing that people always say is, you know, don't touch the stove because it's hot, because they've touched it, right? But some people have to actually touch the stove. But if you have the person that will tell you before you make a mistake, I think it'll just kind of put you that farther ahead. So, you know, the one line that I was saying is, you know, people will always say, don't tell your dream. I say, go ahead and tell, because even though you may know my plan, you don't have my vision. So that way, you know, yes, you know my idea, you know my goal, but you don't have the vision and the execution that I'm going to use to make it happen. So that's why I'm a big fan of that.
And I also encourage people to speak what they want, because you speak life into what your vision is going to be too. So another question I always like to ask people, especially in the military, because our military is struggling right now. A lot of our veterans are struggling with mental health. A lot of people are struggling with mental health, but there is a statistic right now that is so staggeringly high with specific military veterans that are struggling with mental health, depression, anxiety, and they're taking their own life. I'm trying to spread encouragement and mental health awareness, and I love that there are several veterans that I've interviewed lately that have been able to take something from getting out of the military, and instead of feeling lost and defeated or, you know, uncertain because there's no stability, they're able to take their vision, take their passion, take their dream, and go forward with it. What kind of advice would you give to someone about taking care of their mental health and striving to reach those goals and dreams that they've got like you have?
Ultimately, like you said, mental health is a really big deal. You know, I have spoken to people about, you know, some things that I've had in the past. I have been in a war zone. I have seen some things that I will never forget. But at the end of the day, like you said, you have those professionals out there. You have to take advantage of them.
Yes. Speak to someone.
Yes, definitely. That's why they're there. They're their resources. And I think sometimes it's easier to talk to people that you don't know about certain things because you don't feel like you're being judged. But there are those out there at the VA, at your everyday hospital that you would see. So definitely utilize those. The one thing I will say is that I think even as you're transitioning out of the military, you've got to find that thing outside of the military that makes you you, right? One of the things that I kind of told myself was I wasn't just going to get out and continue to doing the same thing that I was doing, because I kind of feel like it traps you into that military identity. Now, the military is an amazing establishment, but what I don't want you to do is feel like that's the only thing that you can do. You know, you have other talents, you have other things you can do, you have other goals and aspirations. Don't feel as though because you've been in the military for so long, that's the only thing that you can do. I personally was like, I love fashion. Let's get into it. Even if, you know, I'm not necessarily successful in it in the sense that I'm making money, I'm still doing it and being a part of something outside of that normal just military day to day. But at the end of the day, I will say the military definitely instilled a lot in me when it comes to, kind of accountability, making checklists, making sure that I'm doing things right, having that eye, as we say in the military, make sure you are, finalizing and looking at every single detail. Attention to details, what we always say. So those things definitely help me out right now in what I'm doing, but this is something unique away from the military that kind of gives me another purpose outside the military.
Your outlet. So
Correct.
definitely to kind of find your identity. Don't lose it in what you're doing. Find your passion.
Yes, ma'am.
I love that. I love that advice. Well, guys, you heard it here from Dapper Luq Collection. They can find you at?
You can find me at Dapper Luq, DapperLuq.com. All my social media is also Dapper Luq, Twitter. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, Dapper Luq. And if you are in the Virginia Beach area, you want to set an appointment, come down and see my showroom. We're available.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the Community Spotlight today. Thank you again for your service. Until next time, guys, the next Community Spotlight, you'll find it here on Heather Marie Speaks. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.